Hello and welcome to Talking Dogs on a Monday. Of course, we are talking all things Juvenile Classic from the Kingdom of Tralee. Two wonderful semi-finals took place at Tralee on Friday evening, and of course, the four quarter-finals took place last Monday, having been postponed from the previous Friday. So a little bit to catch up on. I'm joined as always by the exiled dub Tommy Lyons from his Yall base and a Northsider, the Belle Sarah Kinsella, the Cheshire Cat, as we called her last week. Well, we're here tonight talking about this evening talking about the Juvenile Classic. Sarah, obviously, busy weekend for you. Were you down in Tralee?
I went down to Tralee on Thursday for a student night that was on down there, and it was a huge success. They had MTU had their NAG society, so it was the nurses and the agricultural science students. They got together and they're raising money and promoting different things that's going on in their student life, I suppose. So it was great crack, great turnout. I think there was 8 races, I think, on the card. So yeah, there was a load of them showed up and they were in good spirits. And you know yourself, these student nights are becoming very popular around the country. I've gone to 3 of them now: Galway, Shelbourne, and Kerry, and they're all very different in each of the stadiums. Obviously, Shelbourne was the busiest because of the location and the mixture of colleges, but it was good crack, I have to say, in Kerry. But I missed the juvenile then on the Friday. And then I went to Cork on Saturday, but I will be there on Friday for the final in Tralee, and I'm very much so looking forward to it.
Yeah, nurses and agricultural night, agricultural science. Tommy, sounds like coppers on a Monday night back in the day.
Yeah.
Eyes weren't there.
We've known before now that this is a good group of greyhounds. There's a real depth of talent in this year's Juvenile Classic, and we saw Ballymac Patriot again, sort of following up his brilliant quarter-final success. He was, again, just perfect the other evening from an ideal draw on the fence. Ballymac Dapper was second. In the other heat, we saw Carol Glady beating Coolavaniata. We'll get to both heats in a minute, but Tommy, I think it's safe to say we'll be seeing plenty more of these dogs in the coming year.
Yeah, look, it's become a tradition, to look at this stake, and they do follow on. And when Liam Dowling is such a force in general in greyhound racing, the fact that he sends so many of his good juveniles here. I know it's a local track and all that sort of crack, but he sends proper greyhounds to this competition, and it's not necessarily the ones that go furthest in the competition either. That are the ones that we end up following most during the year. It looks every bit as good as, not just the winners of the heats the other night, but it looks every bit as good as previous years.
Yeah, I caught the one of the interviews that Mert did down with I think it was Shane, maybe after the quarterfinals, where he said about their dogs, Ballymac Patriot, Ballymac Dapper, and whatever else was in there, that they haven't had all that much done with them, just given the time of the year. And it's probably a trend with them, Tommy, given the fact that like they're heavily involved in the coursing season. Obviously, they had a huge year this year, so they've been very, very busy, and maybe now we're only seeing the likes of Patriot and Dapper sort of getting their feet. And I thought the other night was very much an improved display by both. I thought they were both very impressive.
There's also potentially, and I know, obviously, it's individual greyhounds and all that, and their age and whatever else, but there's also potentially the idea that that they have in the past come from this stake to the Derby, even though the dogs are obviously very inexperienced, but they've had their 6 or 8 months. They're also now thinking they've got an extra couple of months to kind of take our time with them rather than push on a little bit earlier. Maybe let's take our time and actually do it right. Yes, they want to win this. It's a prestigious stake, but you also have to have an eye on the future, I think.
Yeah, you certainly do. Sarah, the opening heat, let's get into it. It was won by Ballymac Patriot, 28-22 in the quarterfinals on the Monday night, foot perfect from an ideal draw on the fence. This is his third run in a row in the red jacket. The son of Ballymac Cash Show got loose early, led on the opening corner, 28-21, justifying odds-on favouritism of 4-6. It was competitive in behind, no question about it, but Ballymac Patriot was just those few steps ahead all the time, and he really does look a very exciting prospect, well-built, sort of 80-pound dog. He's only a June 22. There's no end to where this fellow could go.
Yeah, very exciting, isn't it? And it's brilliant with these juvenile competitions because you don't know what you're getting coming into it. Obviously, the people at home know what they have, but watching them progress week after week, when you're looking at dogs like this doing 28-21, like he looked ultra professional. He looked like he'd been around the track a lot more than just on that was his third start. Saying that if you put him up against Ballymac Finn, you'd like to see what he was able to do. But I mean, it's very impressive. I actually was lucky enough I called into Liam Downing's on Friday morning just for a little walk around the place, and I was amazed. I was never there before. I was privileged. It was brilliant to see. Liam has such a wonderful setup. You can see why he's so successful down through the years. I mean, all the sections for the brood bitches and the race dogs and the swimming pool, and he's just got everything. It was wonderful to see. But I wish him very much so success in the final. I'm delighted to see he's got two in there. But Ballymac Patriot, I actually went on Kerry Radio there on Saturday morning before I headed to Cork, and they asked me to pick who I thought was going to win the final. And I know Kula Vaniata was well drawn and all the rest, but I do think Ballymac Patriot would win. I think thought he was very professional in his semi-final, a 3:11 sectional, ultra consistent, as you mentioned, 28-22, and then following that up with 28-21, justifying his odds-on favouritism as well. So he's the one for me. We're going to see so much more of all of these dogs, Ian, but especially him. He can take his time with him. I'm looking forward to what he's going to bring for the future.
Yeah, Tommy, he does look the real deal. He's out of Ballymac wisdom. She was top class herself. She was strong. She had lots of good form over 575, 600, and up to 750 yards. In fact, her last ever race was over the 1,000-yard trip. So, Ballymac Patriot is obviously getting the speed from the sire side and the strength and stamina and power from the dam side. Just seems to have it all. Obviously, we'll get to the draw. Sarah alluded to it there in the final. Not an ideal draw in the final, given the fact that he's raced from Trap 1 his previous 2 nights. But by all accounts, he'll be amongst the favourites, if not favourite. He'll be close enough to
it. He will. He's a seriously good dog, clearly, but just if you kind of try to backfit when you have so little form, you try to backfit a little bit, and the run probably behind the ball Falcon, in the first round, even though it's beaten 8 lengths, it was actually a huge run, considering that he did a 3:31 compared to his 3:11s the last 2 nights. And actually, the pace he showed into the bend that night, actually, I don't think because we didn't know the dogs, we didn't know what he was up against, didn't really realize quite how good that early pace was. What I like about him is, well, of course, I'd love to see him in 2 or 3, maybe not very wide up, but I'd like to see him in 2 or 3 just to see how he copes with it, because by God, he uses that inside line exceptionally well. Even coming off the last bend in the semi-finals, he hardly went 3 dogs wide. That's the way he takes that last bend. It's quite impressive tracking. He's not going to give away an inch of ground when he's drawn on the fence. So you'd imagine that's probably going to be his best position. But he's only very young and inexperienced. He's going to improve quite a bit, I would imagine. But I love again, it's using hindsight. It's using hindsight, but I think his early pace and his early pace is far more impressive than I thought it was. And also the fact that he's clearly a staying the trip well. I mean, he's a dog that you talked about his breeding, and you know a lot more about that than I do. But his breeding is going to suggest he'll get beyond 550. Not that they probably need to worry about that, but it's young to be saying he has all the attributes for a derby. He has all the attributes to compete in the derby, obviously. But I think if you can't be getting excited about the likes of him, I don't know what you'd be getting excited about. That to me, that run, the back fit, and this is hindsight again, and so it sounds boring, but the back fit to the first round, it excites me much more now.
Yeah, no, yeah, there's no question the strength on the downside. Like Ballymac Wisdom was actually a sister to Ballymac Kingdom, a Juvenile Classic winner himself. So like it's all there. Obviously, his classics were the Shelbourne 600, and he won Cork Cullen. So like there's real strength on the dam side. I agree with you. He's shown good early speed. He led on the corner from what he basically led at Traps the other night. However, Ballymac Dapper was in second spot to him. Sarah's no question. Ballymac Dapper is bred in the purple, being Ballymac Cooper out of Ballymac Garminta. What a superstar she was. She's all about speed. Her progeny to this point have looked really, really sort of sharp. This fellow has yet to get his trapping right. He's probably been wrongly housed every single night. He is showing it in a tendency to edge towards the fence. I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if this fellow turned out to be the best of all of them. I like a lot. I liked him a lot the other night. I've been saying for the last 2 weeks how impressed I was by Silver Hill Adam. Well, Silver Hill Adam had no answer to Ballymac Dapper down the back straight, which I really, really loved. I thought he really stuck at it. I'd love to see him getting loose some night. Now, looking at the draw in the final, he's out in 5 again. It's unlikely he's going to get loose on that occasion. But this is the type of dog, something similar to the Laddie Da, let's say from last year, where he did show glimpses of real promise around Tralee, but it's later in the year that he could really come to the fore.
Yeah, and this is why you can get so excited about dogs like this. Like he's finished what second twice now behind Ballymac Patriot, and as you say, he has been badly drawn. So look, we can again another one we can look forward to and what he's going to bring for the future. But the exciting thing about dogs like him is they're okay. You've got Patriot who's out and gone. He's doing these massive runs so early in his career, but you can get excited about Dapper because you know he's going to come on. You know there's improvement there. He just might be a little slow to get onto things as some of the other dogs. Like I know that from pups that we've had down through the years, it takes some of them just a long time to click and for it to clue in and what's going on. So I think we can get excited about him too. And look, another one that's bred in the purple as well, like Ballymac Dapper, like they all are, Ballymac Cooper and Ballymac Arminta, as you touched on. So yeah, look, I mean, what more can you say? He is badly drawn in the final, Ian. I don't think he'd be able to pull it out of the bag, but you never know. Stranger things have happened.
No,
And again, like as you mentioned, the pace that he is showing down the back straight, like nothing was kind of touching him. He was just when he got his eye on the bunny, that was it. He showed the engine that he had. But look, he mightn't win this competition, but he'll definitely win something in the future.
yeah, Tommy, Ballymac Dapper, like we're saying there about bread in the purple, but like it's gone to the stage where nothing comes out of Liam Dowling's that's not bred in the purple.
Yeah.
That's just the the riches they have down there. Like you look at some
Yeah.
of the brood bitches, and they're all superstars, and I'm not afraid to race them. Like Ballymac Wisdom had over 60 starts. I'm sure Ballymac Minta had 40 or 50 starts. And yet they produce. Ballymac Dapper, what's your thoughts?
Like you would expect that to be the case with the breeding because if you're going to be a big breeding operation like the Dowlings are, what you do is you sift away at it and you hone your skills. You kind of pick the best racers or the best brood bitches or the best potential bitches, and you kind of that's what you breed from. That's the right way. That's what makes that's what that's what makes the standard higher in Ireland or anywhere. Obviously, they have an influence further in Ireland, but that's what makes the standard higher by the way they've approached breeding as a serious operation. So not like you would expect. It's a bit like looking at Ballydoyle in the horse racing. It's the exact same thing. Like they're Coolmore. They look to breed the best, and that's what they're doing. Like Liam at the moment, I mean, the riches he has, as you said, whether it's the coursing field or the track, it's the same. Ali McDapper himself is. I know Kinturk Road isn't the sprinter obviously, but she's got a phenomenal pace. And for a dog about 18 months to be beating us in a sprint trial is pretty smart. I think actually you're right too that Ballymac Dapper has a lot of early pace and like Sarah said, it's going to take a while to kick in. The 319, 327, 312 the other night, 312 from five despite going left. And now it would have been funny had it would have been an interesting race had they been drawn one and two with Ballymac Dapper inside Ballymac Patriot. It would be interesting to see what Ballymac Patriot been able to clear Ballymac Dapper to the bin. I'm not entirely certain. I do. It would suggest to me that both of them have excellent early pace. Um, I would think just looking at it, I know there's a little bit of skirmishing for the young dog. Any little bit of trouble can be exaggerated just through lack of experience. But I would say that personally, I would say Patriot's a stronger dog.
Yeah, it's probably yeah. In terms of strength wise, if you look back at their excuse me, their quarterfinal clash, he definitely pulled a length or two off him from the sort of third bend home. Just two very exciting greyhounds, and the third in the contest, Baby Bocco. He's closely related to English Derby winner Thorn Falcon. This was his first defeat the other evening. I thought lost nothing in defeat. He's just touched off for second spot. She's Ordinary. His dam is a half sister to Thorn Falcon, so the pedigree is there. Son of Lenson Bocco, of course, would have done his schooling around Tralee in the early days, given his pedigree and where he came from. Just three fantastic greyhounds looking forward. But Silver Aladdin, I think he's going to be a real 575, 600-yard dog around Shelbourne Park. Ivy Hill Thunder is as green as grass. I've been told he's been sold. He may well be heading across the water. I believe Graham Box has bought him, who also owns Baby Bocco, of course. And the other there, Delightful Maisie. It'd be interesting to see how Delightful Maisie develops. A big dog, 88, 87 pounds. Very interesting. Anything to touch upon there, Sarah?
No, Baby Bucko. Like you could argue he's a massive chance in this final because he's well drawn. Like he's the only seeded dog in the leg out in six. Do you know what I mean? He's the wild seed. So look, it's impressive as well what people can do with dogs at such a young age. Ian. Like I know everyone is different in what they do. I know my dad would let them progress a lot more. He wouldn't race them at a young age, but that's just the way my dad does things. But to see these dogs coming in, they're not even hitting 2 years of age yet. They're coming to a track. They have to get used to crowd noise. They have to get used to traveling in the van. They have to get used to the lights. They have to get used to weigh-in system and people around. Like, it's a huge thing for them. And to just to touch, like, the fact that Ballymac Patriot can just pop out and do 28-21 on his third ever start, like, it's magic. It really is. And kudos to the trainers for able to produce them to such a high level.
5 days after 5 days after doing 28-22. So
Yeah,
it's pretty remarkable, all right.
yeah, I don't think they get
I
enough
think these
credit,
days
like,
have changed, of course. They're all out much younger now. Certainly for the
yeah,
last 10, 15 years. Like, Susie Sapphire won a derby, what, 2 months before her second birthday.
yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
It's happening, and it's not going to change anytime soon. That's the way it's been. Tommy onto the second semi-final, and Carogue Lady once again showing her terrific early speed. She is a full sister of a by-repeat mating to Coulivanny Hoffa. She has brilliant early dash. We knew that. Prices ahead of the semi-final suggested that she did look like the likely leader. And we were wondering which would get first run at her. It certainly wasn't Coulivanny Otto. Found traffic. Carrickmore Grace walked out, found traffic. Nothing else could really land a blow on the winner. But it has to be said, Coulivanny Otto ran a remarkable race in defeat. But let's talk about Carogue Lady first, Tommy. She's brilliant early speed. She's still only a June 22. She's clearly one to keep an eye on.
Mm.
Yeah, look, she didn't get home in front in either of the previous rounds, having shown like her 303 the very first night, her first night in a competitive race. 303 is fairly phenomenal. 306 the last night. 311 was her worst. Which will tell you where she stands. She came right across the track early the other night as well, and could easily have got into all sorts of trouble. Still managed to go a long way clear. It was a messy race, and the runner up is just showed phenomenal ability. But she's, in most cases, what you want is the dog that's going to be out in front and clear and gone, and given time, particularly at this age, to strengthen up. And she doesn't have to straighten up a huge amount to make her kind of into that type of Oaks class of a bitch. She that sort of early pace that'll get you away in front in an Oaks is oftentimes what wins a classic like that. So she's very exciting. Look, it's quite obvious. Coulivanny Otto did phenomenal running the other night. Absolutely phenomenal running for a dog that, I mean, literally every step of the way there was something getting in the way of him, and that's, you can say it's his own fault because he missed the kick and all that, and it is to a degree. But like, again, he's just as inexperienced and entitled to improve with each run. I mean, I thought I came away from that going, wow, that was some performance, and he's actually been rewarded with a great draw in the final.
Yeah, big time. Sarah, obviously Carogue Lady, she's the one that got out front. She did everything right. There's so much to like about her. 28-43 in her third start. She's improved with each run. 28-52, 28-44, 28-43. She's obviously a player in the final because given her early speed, she could well be turning in front, but it's hard not to be drawn by Coulivanny Otto just the way he ran. He obviously is the one that a lot of people are talking about, even more so than the winner, which is unfair, but understandable.
Yeah, I was the same as Tommy. I came out thinking, wow, the pace that he showed was sensational. But not to take away from Carogue Lady, I did kind of go like that though, and she came out of the traps and went right across. Luckily, she had that beautiful early speed that she didn't cause any chaos. But I'd hate to see what she'd bloody do if they were all on a level break. Do you understand me? So she's lucky enough that she's out in trap 4. I hope she doesn't cause any hindrance to Ballymac Dapper, but I think she'll just be out and gone, to be honest. She definitely will lead. I do think she will lead because she's just consistent. She's an absolute flyer. But as we can see, she's struggling to get home. That will come in time. I'm not saying that might not be her career now going forward, that she'll just die a death every time she runs a 5.25. That's not the case. For all we know, she could be cramping or something. We don't know. She's only 60 pounds. So yeah, look, I do think she'll lead, but I do think there's just too much pacing behind her with Coulivanny Otto and Ballymac Patriot and whatnot. So, but look, she's a terrific bitch. I can't wait to see where they're gonna go with her in the future. And obviously, she's got a lot to look forward to, the Conan and Kirby and the Oaks and whatever. But yeah, I do think we'll see improvement from her. I wouldn't be knocked by it just yet, because with that terrific early pace, I'm thinking Susie Sapphire, I'm thinking Derby, I'm thinking Easter Cup, I'm thinking all types of things for Carogue Lady, but I won't get too carried away. You know what I'm like with these bitches, I fall in love with them. But yeah, Coulibaly, wow, that pace man is just sensational. He will be favoured for the final, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. Tommy, our cracker, was back in third. He's a nice type, but he's not Coulibaly.
Yeah, possibly like no like limitations exposed the other night when we're talking about this competition. Not to say like the rest of them, he can't go on and improve again and be a better greyhound down the line. I think just for the purposes of this competition, I think they were exposed a little bit. Came away well enough, was in a clear position in second. To go and chase the leader and kind of didn't really get going till very late. I think he's a nice dog going forward and probably a decent stayer, but Coulibaly kind of overshadowed him, I thought, in that semi final.
Yeah. No, let's look at the final. There's unbelievably fast greyhounds in it. Just mentioned the three that didn't go through there. Chambord in trap two, Carrigmore Grace walked out, lost his chance early, and Beaming Panther on the outside just didn't happen for them. The final draw: 1 Coulibaly, 2 is Our Cracker, 3 Ballymac Patriot, 4 Corrogue Lady, 5 Ballymac Dapper, and 6 Baby Bocco. The three very well drawn dogs are Coulibaly. You would suggest Corrogue Lady could nearly be ideally drawn in 4, and Baby Bocco in trap 6. That doesn't mean that's the way it's going to go, but obviously the eye is immediately drawn to the inside, especially in the type of competition it is, Tommy, unraced competition, youngsters. That inside draw is it could be of huge importance.
It will it will be like the way you look at it at the moment. Again, without a huge amount of evidence, you say the inside runners maybe that at a push they'll do a 310, 309, something like that sort of, at their best, and kind of use that line. Ballymac Patriot will probably do something close to that. It's just interested to see, could he maybe shave a couple of spots off that, the fact that he's out in 3. Carol Glady needs to do her 303 or 305 or something like that, because if she doesn't break quickly, and she, even when she was in 3 on debut, was it? She in 3, and I think she was in 3 on debut. She stepped right as well,
Yeah.
even though she had a clear run again. She stepped right, so she's gone out to that 5 box, or basically that 4.5, 5 kind of line. That's where she's going to every night, regardless. So, like, Ballymac Dapper will be going left, and Carol Lady will be going right. It's going to, one or both of them can't win the final because of it. And actually, do you know what? When you get to a point like that, you kind of say, well, if there's a doubt about that, and you don't know which one's going to be most effective, you probably rule out both of them. I do, as a punter, from a punter point of view, I do. So I would think that both of those might struggle a little bit to win the competition. Yes, Carol Lady could fly out and get the clear run, which will still make life difficult for Ballymac Dapper, because they won't be coming around Ballymac Patriot, around Coulibaly, even maybe around Our Cracker. I think the draw is huge. I think Coulibaly, it's interesting. He has to lead, even though he's a fast dog, and he's clearly a dog that can do it both ways, which you'd really like for a versatility in a dog that young, and that inexperienced. You'd love that sort of versatility. But Ballymac Patriot is a serious greyhound, a serious greyhound. I'd love to. I haven't formulated in my head which one I think would definitely be in front of the first bend. But whatever one I do, that's the one I'll be tipping on Friday night anyway.
You're of the opinion, probably similar to myself, in a sense, where we think Corrogue Lady will most likely lead around the opening corner, but of that pair, whichever gets first run at her will probably win.
Yeah, but yes, and particularly if Coulibaly got a runner, I think. I mean that would be a near certainty. I mean, I'm just looking at the sections there. Coulibaly has 308, 2 308s, and the other one was the missed kick the other night. That would suggest that at the moment at least, he'll get the best of Ballymac Patriot early. Again, he has to show he'll do it from trap 1. I think it shouldn't be an issue whatsoever. I think, in fact, it'll be perfectly fine. I don't think he's a dead inside dog at all. I think he'd be perfectly fine though. He's probably going to be the one that have to tip. It all depends on prices, really, but I think he is the most likely winner of it.
Sarah, you obviously will have to deal with talking to people on the night, and it's all well and good thinking clearly, and you have your view of the race now. When you get talking to, let's say, Graham Holland on Saturday night, or you run into Bev Lockheed and they say, God, this dog is only coming right now. We think he's a chance of hitting the lids, and all of a sudden your view is going to get distorted towards the end of the week, and that's fair enough. We all do that when we're at the track talking to connections and whatnot. But as we speak now, are you of a similar sort of mindset to Tommy?
Yes, I am, and I think I will be kind of torn between 1 and 3. And no one else is really coming into it for me, bar maybe Baby Buckle, because as Tommy alluded to, Carogue Lady's going to want to come out, Ballymacdapper's going to want to go in. Baby Buckle could get a lovely run on the outside because they could be bunching in, or it could be the opposite. There could be carnage, and he could get brought out to the bloody car park. Who knows? I have to pick one, and I'm going to go with Ballymac Patriot just because of the way he ran in the semi-final and throughout the whole competition. But he just looked ultra professional to me and to my eye. And if Coulivanny Otto is a real railer and inside runner, then of course he's perfectly drawn. But I think the price is when the price. I do think Otto will be favourite, so that's why I'm swaying more towards Patriot. I just think he'll have that pace going into the opening bend. Carogue Lady will go out. It'll create a little bit of room for him. And that's just the way I'm thinking. But yeah, when you go down there on the night, everyone fancies their dog in a final, and even when you're 33-1, people will still make a case. We were the same when we had Accardello running the 600 final against College Causeway. We fancied Accardello, no matter what price he was. So everyone fancies their dog when it comes to a final. It doesn't matter about the price, but I'm going to go with Ballymac Patriot in Trap 3. I'm not going to change my mind.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it goes. I'm with Otto. Tommy, what are you siding with?
Yeah, I'll be with Otto. I think it's a cracking final though.
Yeah,
Kind of one that you won't be allowed to make a mistake and still win it.
yeah,
You know,
no, no
that's
question.
just the way it is. It'll be a
I, I,
28.
I think the only certainty is that we'll be seeing so much more of these greyhounds. It'll be interesting to see if the likes of Pat Buckley, Liam Dowling, and whoever else, well, Graham Holland perhaps, if they do decide to get that little bit more action into them in the Kirby and then maybe target an English Derby. That's sort of the campaign that could be mapped out for them. It'd be interesting to see if they
I don't.
give them that opportunity.
Yeah, I don't look at. I don't think Baby Bacco is good enough to win at the moment. Another dog, though, I'd have a high respect for connections. I think he's a dog that will improve with a couple of runs, a couple more runs, and a bit more experience. I think he's running a wide line. He let himself get a little bit caught out wide. The last thing,
Tralee is probably not his track, really.
exactly. I just don't think. I don't think it's him. Like he'd be our cracker and himself. To me, would have to be the two outsiders.
Yeah, I just want to mention Droopy's, no, not Droopy. Oh, well, I will be mentioning in a minute, but Coulivanny Otto for James and Nathan Corden. Obviously, James very much involved in the Buckley Kennel. Nathan Corden, his father Terry won the Irish Cesarewitch with Droopy's Glory a few years back, and an English Derby runner-up in Tinwall Bish. It's just great to see the two boys having a runner on this sort of a stage. That they're heavily involved in the sport through Greyhound Trader and whatnot, and they've been involved in an awful lot of high profile sales and whatnot over the last number of years, but it's great to see them holding on to one in Coulivanny Otto. Well, if you're going to hold on to one, I suspect this is the type of one you want to be holding on to. The very best of luck to all 6 sets of connections. It should be a great night at Tralee. It's on GTV, Sarah?
As far as I know, yeah. Do you know what? I feel like we've abandoned our cracker a little bit there, Ian. We didn't really give him a mention. I was just looking because he won the opening round, obviously, in 2860, but he has found trouble in his last 2 heats. He's been crowded on the run up and whatnot. So, and he's in a better trap than trap 2 in the final. Just because, when you're talking about these finals, I feel like we ignored him a little bit. So, our cracker definitely has to.
No, you're listen, you're 100% right. I suppose it's the fact that Pat Buckley has the 2 in the final. You sort of you focus on the one that you think is most likely to win. But our cracker is a son of his English Derby champion, Deirdre Sydney. A nice mystery. What a brilliant brood bitch she has been. Nice mystery. And our cracker, and yeah, you're right, because so often these finals, it only takes a good start, a flying start, and who's to say that our cracker can't take a flyer, get around or get through the gap into the opening corner and go on to score. It's that type of final. But no, I think our colours are firmly sort of nailed to the mast at this stage. It is live on Greyhound Television on Friday night, and the Bell Rob will be down there reporting live. Have Mike will travel. He'll be interviewing anyone that walks or moves. So keep an eye out for Robert there at Tralee on Friday night. Best of luck to all involved. A cracking renewal of the Juvenile Classic. And again, it's live on GTV. Let's get around the houses. Some good racing through the weekend. Tommy, the Cork Cup went to Bambi's Lady.
Yeah, and if ever you wanted a draw to be in your favour, that was the draw of all time. It's you know what? There's a good comparison. This is the way I would look at when I'm looking from a form point of view. If I'm going to have a bet on a dog, you had a dog there in one who was a slow starter. But if you look at the Gold Cup the previous week, people were kind of assuming that the winner had a great job, but a lot of other news wasn't breaking. But a lot of other news can break and had broken and had 206, I think, or something on that. And a lot of other news broke in the final, and it made it immeasurably more difficult for Boyle Sports. So actually, the final in Cork the other night, Bambi's Lady, the dog in trap one was a dog that couldn't go to the bend. Even if it broke, it wouldn't go to the bend, so it wasn't going to get in the way. If she was going to break to the best of her ability, like she had done in the previous rounds, she was a certainty to get around in front. And actually, having two was the perfect box because you had the Fay Point Susie, it was in three, I think, was it, and Maureen in five. Yeah, Susie was in three, I think. And a nice early pacer, but not the same level of early pace as Bambi's Lady. So Bambi's Lady got around. It was tight, close home, but she just as she had done in the previous round, actually used the line very, very well. Used her position very, very well to hold off the rest of them. Nice pot too for an A1, 5,000 to the winner.
Yeah, I was going to say, Sarah, you were down there in Cork. You got to speak to the Bell, Willie Rigney of Time Greyhound Nutrition. They're putting an awful lot into the sport. Great scenes on the presentation area and a couple of fine displays on the undercard also, just to back it all up.
Yeah, Clona Duke was, geez, and like I was talking to a few people throughout the evening, and the professional people were telling me they thought the track was back, and then Clona Duke just pops out and does 28-21. Like, it was pretty impressive. But anyway, to talk about Bambi's Lady, what a night in Cork. Like, I was really impressed because not only was not like it's not only a €5,000 stake. That's a big prize, that's a big fund, like, for anyone to win. But the crowd there was unreal. Everyone had a fantastic night, a brilliant winner. It was a competitive final in because the highest priced dog in the final was 5-1, like 15 bold, number 6. So, but yeah, she did exactly what she said she was going to do: pop out, make all, and just hold on. That's exactly what happened. A terrific night in Cork. Fair play to Brian Collins and all. Like, he gets fundraisers and everything down there. In some of these southern tracks and smaller, not smaller tracks, but they do get forgotten about a little bit, I think. So it's just worth mentioning Brian Collins and all the team down there. They do great work. And Kate Sampson as well. She's a young photographer. She's only a student, and she's doing unreal action shots. And people are talking about her around the country. I put a few of the shots up on social media, and they're messaging me going, where are them action shots from? Like, it's just great. The industry's on the up in. Everything is going really, really well.
Yeah, Cork, not one of the smaller tracks. The jewel in the crown, shall we say?
I corrected myself there. Not smaller tracks, but it is. I do think these people need to be mentioned more, Ian, because everyone tends to focus just, oh, it's only the Laurels down there, and everything else is sort of, all of these tracks put in so much effort throughout the year and getting benefit nights and fundraisers in and on. The Cork Oaks is coming up, and I just think it's worth mentioning these people and giving them the shout out that they deserve. And Heather and Tralee as well, like, she's running the show down there nearly on her own. So yeah, I think it's worth just giving them a shout out every now and again.
Yeah, Tommy, you weren't there on Saturday night yourself, no?
No, I was doing what I always do on a weekend, traveling the country with kids and matches.
I thought you were going to say drinking pints.
No, I tell you what, I wouldn't even know what it tastes like anymore.
I dispute that. I dispute that. No, you mentioned Clona Duke there, 28-21. The remaining times in the card would suggest that the track was certainly not flying. It was a hell of a run, Tommy. Kevin O'Brien texted me on Saturday night. He was chuffed to himself. Not only had Clona Duke won in such fashion, but he also had a good winner down at Tralee, Clona Comet. He's an October 22 to 28.45. Looks exciting type. So yeah, Kevin's enjoying life at the moment. Clona Duke will be Easter Cup bound, you'd suspect.
Yeah, what a lovely way to tee into it, like with a run like that. Was potential for a tricky enough little draw, tricky enough little race. There was a bit of quality in it. Churchtown Sid was in it. Gay Time Hugo was in the race. You got a bit of a challenge into the bend. Absolutely love the way he drove the first bend, Clona Duke. That's what you'd really like about the performance. 28-21 is fine. I'd expect him to do that in his sleep. He's that quality of a greyhound. I just thought for a first run back, it was really, really, really pleasing.
Yeah, very sharp. Just everything worked out lovely for him. Just drove the corner, as you said. He's a March 21, so he's just approaching 3 years of age. There was a time that would be just coming into the peak of a greyhound. Nowadays, it's seen as he is effectively a third season dog, although his first season was pretty short, towards the end of the year when he won his juvenile derby. He had Busy Lear last year, was an English Derby finalist, won the Select Stakes, just a top quality greyhound, and we look forward to seeing him in the Easter Cup. And wherever he turns up, you'd suspect that a potential English Derby challenge would be on the horizon once again. Sarah, were you at Mullingar at the weekend? Were you there on Sunday? No, or on Saturday? No, you couldn't. You were in Cork.
No, I was in
Excuse
Cork.
me. You're good. You're not that good. You can't be
I
in
was
two
going to
places
say
at
I'm
one
good,
time.
but I
Yeah.
can't be in two places at the same time.
The two semi-finals of the Midlands Derby went to Hawkfield Abbey and to Rough Frankie. Two very different successes. Hawkfield Abbey, the track record holder, led on the opening corner. She stretched on. Fate Point Jet made a by-catching ground to be beaten only 2 lengths in 30.57. A good run by Hawkfield Abbey. And the other heat went to Rough Frankie. He was the 4-5 favourite. And Julie Obliged as an odds-on favourite should, but it was far from straightforward. He found himself last into the opening corner, having missed the kick badly. Showed great tracking ability to move third into the back straight, and then powered home to get there in the closing yards, beating Slim Kerry and the long-time pacesetter Cyrax. Hawkfield Abbey may well be favoured in the final, but the draw has not worked in her favour. It's going to be pretty tough. That final will take place on Sunday next, not Saturday. Worth pointing out, it was Saturdays up to this point. It'll be on next Sunday. Sarah, you'll be in Mullingar this weekend, though, will you?
No, not so. I'm going on the 10th because it'll be the start of the Cesarewitch and the final of the Midlands Derby.
10th is Sunday.
Is it this week? Yeah. God, I'm losing track of my dates now. Yes, I will be there. And it's important to note as well that the restaurant will be open on those 2 Sundays, the 10th and the 17th. So if anyone is watching this, book your food in on those 2 Sundays, because we all know the Cesarewitch draws in a great crowd. Obviously, the final then will be on St. Patrick's Day. So a great event to bring your family down to Mullingar on St. Paddy's Day after the parade and whatnot, because there'll be terrific racing.
Make sure you wear green.
Make sure you wear green, yeah.
The Cesarewitch this year, Tommy, it's a 2-run event. It sort of caught me by surprise, it has to be said. I think there's definitely room for this type of a competition on the calendar. But it's strange, though, that it's coming in the Cesarewitch that has had no problem in attracting entries in recent years.
I have a head like a sieve, right? But the best of times. But like I do remember last year being a very good Cesarewitch, and that surprises me too. It's a 2-run event. It's normally better than that. What won it last year was
Bobsleigh Dream, wasn't it?
Bobsleigh Dream, was it? Yeah, and was Magical Mary maybe in the final? Magical Mary.
Could have been Magical Mary, yeah, in the final. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, might have been. Yeah, that was an excellent competition last year. Actually, I remember we talked about it quite a bit. Actually, so yeah, that's a bit disappointing. It's only a two run stake, to be honest.
Yeah, listen, it certainly adds extra jeopardy, and you can certainly see the positives. But again, like it's one of those competitions where local trainers have had success in it through the early rounds in recent years because their dogs know their way around, and obviously, it's that bit more fanned out. But with only 6 to qualify, the 6 heat winners, it doesn't leave an awful lot of room for the local man to maybe pop up and get one through into third or second. It's all or bust, basically.
Yeah, it's not. Is that really what it should be about? It's supposed to be a classic. I don't think so.
Yeah, Sarah.
Yeah, look, there's pros and cons to this. I'm sure they have their reasons why they've decided to do this format, whether it's the busy schedule. There's a lot on. There's a lot happening around the country. So whatever their reasons, look, they might as well try it. It might not work, but if I had a dog, and so you've the 6 heats, only the winner goes through to the final. Jesus, if you're a betting net, like, wouldn't you be absolutely going out of your head, like, oh Jesus Christ, like it is odd, but I'm going to embrace it because there's obviously reasons why they're trying it. We just have to take it. We have to go with the positives and run with it. It is a classic, and you could look at it as well to say 2 runs for 10 grand is pretty awesome. So let's just look at the positives of it and see what happens. It'll be great competition either way. I think it'll attract a high profile of dogs like it always does. We nearly won it one year. Which did I tell you I had a dog called Acadillo before?
Yeah, once or twice.
We nearly won it. So I've always had a soft spot for Mullingar. So get down there on the 10th and the 17th and you'll have a great night.
Yeah, indeed. they've been holding extra trial sessions, but sadly we might know if dogs have been around or not because they've been holding additional unofficial trial sessions. So it sort of doesn't leave it sort of as a betting proposition per se. You have to take it on trust that anyone that's challenging for the Cesarewitch has made the time to go down there and maybe trial their dog once or twice, because if they haven't trialed there, they really are,
Oh
running
yeah, yeah,
against the
you
wind,
have
I'm
to
afraid.
trial
Yeah,
there.
you're running against the wind. The third bend was once described to me. If you haven't been around like the Bermuda Triangle, you might go in, but you may never come
Yeah.
out. But no, the Cesarewitch is fast approaching. Next Sunday, it kicks off again. 6 heat winners going through to the final the following weekend. Shelbourne Park, the book your fishing at Swim Bookers A2525. The semi-finals of that were on Saturday night at Shelbourne Park. I thought the elite Josh dog was quite impressive for Miles Robin. It's funny, you just get stuck into your head with these dogs. You look at the prefix and go on elite dog. It's obviously blistering early speed, not the best of stairs, but Miles has also had some real good stairs in the past. And elite Josh came from behind to win in 28.90 on a track that was running very slow, or slower, shall we say, than it would normally. The other heat went to Phoenix Tyson for Ian and Billy Riley. Fastaway always led in 29.22. A couple of nice dogs. Valderrama was second, and that showed a bit of early speed, missed the kick. And the other heat second was Get Up Me Son, who led for much of the way. Ballymac Slick has to be said, a disappointing third. He looked pretty flat compared to the previous week. I'm sure there's better to come from him. And Rebel Autumn was the other qualifier, staying on in third in the last of the heats. One more dog I want to mention on Saturday night at Shelbourne Park was Droopy's Fidget. Droopy's Fidget, racing from the Red Jacket, won the finale in 28.76. Take off the 28.56. I think you could take off the 40, to be honest. I thought it was a hell of a run. Really took off down the back straight. She's a full sister, litter sister to Droopy's Clue, who was named British Greyhound of the Year last night at the GBGB Awards. Well worth a mention that. Obviously, a very fast greyhound, Droopy's Clue. It didn't happen for him at Shelbourne Park at the Winter Racing Festival, but Droopy's Fidget, I would suspect that Robert Gleeson will now be eyeing up a crack at the Oaks with this lady. She may well take in the likes of an Easter Cup. She has plenty of pace, plenty of strength, and who's to say she couldn't go a few rounds? She's a nice type. Some good performances on the undercard as well at Shelbourne Park. That's basically it from me. Anything else to mention, Tommy?
No, that's good.
Sarah?
I like unanimous Cody and the 750. I know the boys actually that bought the dog. So they were trailed 42.94. I know like the track was with the bad weather and that I wouldn't mind too much about the times, but not around a good race. And also before we go, it's worth mentioning. So if anyone had watched my interview with Willie Rigney from Time Greyhound Nutrition, he alluded to some big news coming. So stay tuned for that.
That's it though from me. Last but certainly not least is the Love Your Club competition. Send in your videos, get a chance to win sponsor jersey for your GA club. €5,000 worth of sponsorship to 2 clubs. Well worth your while getting involved in that. It's a no-brainer. Send all the details in. If you're looking for the details, they're floating around there on social media. You can't miss it. It's there. But that's it from us on this Talking Dogs on a Monday. My thanks again to the exiled one, Tommy Lyons, down in his yawl base, looking very blurry in the background there, and to Sarah Kinsella, who has her 2 dogs overlooking her on her shoulder. Sarah, continue smiling and best of luck at the weekend. That's it, though, from us on this Talking Dogs on a Monday. Best of luck to the 6 finalists in the Juvenile Classic at Tralee on Friday night. A wonderful competition, a real stepping stone to future superstardom. I have no doubt there are 2 or 3 potential superstars in the lineup. That's it, though, from us tonight. Good luck, good evening. God bless.